Everyone, Kay Berkner here today with Dr. Tom Phelan, author and creator of 123 Magic, as well as the author of The Manager Mom Epidemic. Dr. Phelan, welcome.
Good morning, Kay.
Hi. So today we are going to be talking about when kids tell lies. Obviously, lying is an extremely frustrating behavior. It's also one that Dr. Phelan, you consider to be pretty serious and needing to be dealt with immediately. Let's start by talking about why. Why do kids lie to us?
Well, there are really two reasons, the second one being the most important. The first one is some kids will lie to impress others, and some adults will do the same thing. You make up a story, whatever. And these are people who are not crazy, but they know that they're telling a stretcher, as Mark Twain used to call it. The second one, and the more common one, is people lie to get out of trouble or avoid trouble or cover up a mistake or misbehavior. And that's the one that parents want to be concerned about, because that's the biggest cause of lies, whether it's children or adults. And that's what you always want to be thinking about or wondering about in the back of your mind.
Got it. So obviously, lying is something that we don't want kids to do. It seems like that would be a stop behavior since it's something we want them to stop doing. Does counting always work for lying?
No, in fact, we don't usually use counting for lying because what we want to do more often is you want to look at where's the lie coming from and then try and fix that. So a lot of kids, for example, will lie about their homework isn't done. And you ask, is your homework done? Yep. Well, it's not done, and you find that out later. And so what we want to do is fix that behavior, fix the homework issue, and come up with a homework routine so lying is not possible or necessary.
Got it. So what are the things that you should not do if you know that your child is lying? For instance, if you are 100% confident that they have not taken their homework out of their backpack, but you've gotten an email from the teacher that says that they do in fact have homework tonight, and they tell you that their homework is complete, what should you do in that situation?
Well, the first thing you should do is not have a cow about it. So parents get so upset about, we're talking about a misdemeanor, not a felony. The statistics of preschoolers that lie is very high. It's over 50%. But they don't do it until they're about 4 years of age because they don't have the cognitive ability to imagine that the lie could help them. But if you know what's going on, what you don't want to do is what I call cornering, and that is test the child to see if they're going to lie while you're trying to get information from them. So you say, is your homework done? And I know your homework is not done. So you shouldn't ask that question, but you're asking it because you want to test them to see if they're going to lie. And what you're really doing is running a test in your own house to see if you have a future criminal on your hands. Does my kid have the psychopathic mentality that would allow him or her to lie to me? Well, that's, lying is very normal. It's something we don't want to get upset about. So if you know that the homework isn't done, you say, we've got to attend to your homework. How are we going to do that? And then in future days, you need to set up a routine for dealing with homework. But if you know, you just tell them that's the situation, and then you deal with it.
Got it. So say you don't know and you find out later. Obviously, the first reaction as a parent is to be upset or angry or frustrated that your child has not told you the truth.
Right.
Say my child has been telling me that their homework is done all week, and then on Friday, I get a note from the teacher that says, hey, is everything okay? So-and-so hasn't turned in any homework this week. At that point, you talk about trying to uncover what the problem is. Is there a consequence that the child should face for lying? And then the second piece of that is, like, how do we go about really getting to the root of the problem that is causing or inspiring them to tell lies?
Yeah, it depends on if this is a repeat offense or a first timer. So if it's a first timer, you're not going to do a consequence for it. You say, look, I want you to tell me the truth, and it's important that we be able to talk to each other. So I want you to tell me the truth when this kind of thing comes up. If it's something that has happened repeatedly, you can consequence them for the misbehavior they're covering up, and you can consequence them for the lie. But again, with the homework thing, we need to have a situation that doesn't allow you to ask that stupid question every day, is your homework done? That's not a routine for homework. That's not a good way to handle it. So you want to have a routine says, homework is going to be done every day at 4 o'clock. I'm going to see your assignment sheet from the internet. You'll check this stuff out with me and so on. So there's no chance to lie. It just doesn't fit in there. It doesn't work. And so on.
Sure. So how about for something where maybe you're not necessarily setting up a routine for it? Like homework is a great example of a place where you can put in place a routine and a start behavior plan. But what about something like, we'll use an example from my own life. My 3.5-year-old son loves snacks. And he is at this point tall enough and has figured out where some of the snacks are in the pantry. So he will sometimes go into the pantry by himself and get snacks, which he's not supposed to do. And then if I think that I have maybe heard him, or if I'm in the other room and I do hear him opening the doors, and I'll say, "Buddy, what are you doing?" And he'll say, "Nothing." Right? When maybe what he's actually doing is chomping on a granola bar or eating an applesauce pouch. With a young child like that, who's doing something that's more of a spontaneous activity, right? There's no routine that I would have in place around that aside from, a regular mealtime. What do you do with a child in that situation?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would not do is say, "Buddy, what are you doing?" Because that's, I think, an example of cornering, if I read it right, because what he's doing. The chances are 95% that he's in there getting something he shouldn't be doing. So, instead of that, if you hear him in there and so on, you might say, remember, there's a rule that if you want a snack, you ask mom, and you say that, and then see if he comes out, and maybe that takes care of it. But you have, I think, a very innocent example of cornering, not a nasty, hostile, vicious one or anything like that. And it seems like a logical question too. But if you know what he's doing, you don't want to say that.
Okay, terrific. That's great. So then kind of, I think the last question to ask around this is, how does this translate up to teenagers, right? Obviously, if you have a younger child, you may run into a lot of situations where they're doing things that either they don't know that they're supposed to be doing them, or they've told a lie about it for the first time, and you can kind of correct and put those routines in place. But as we discussed in a recent week, dealing with teen behavior is a little bit different. So what do you do when you have a teenager who is lying to you, maybe not about homework, but about where they've been, who they've been with, drinking, drugs, something that's a little bit more serious?
Yeah, I think you got a couple of problems here, because you have the same thing about the cornering. If you know what happened, if you don't know what they've been doing, one of the things teenagers don't take well to is for parents being inquisitive about what they've been up to, because they know if you're worried and you're checking up on them and you're trying to do sort of a diagnostic on their life, I will guarantee you they're going to resent that. And you ask an anxious and sometimes angry question, you're going to get an angry response back. So one of the things your job with teens is to be backing off. The teenagers have their MBAs, which is minor but aggravating behavior, which can drive you crazy, but doesn't mean it's necessarily a sign of mental illness or something like that. The other thing is, if you're concerned about something, what you want to do is don't do a spontaneous question. Make an appointment with them. So, I'm a little concerned about what's going on with your friends when you're out. I want to talk to you about it sometime. Now is not good for me. When's a good time for you? And then you set up a time to get together with them. But that gives them time to think. Now, some parents say, well, yeah, it gives them time to prepare their lies for you. But you're going to have a conversation rather than a spontaneous question.
Got it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Phelan. This has been so helpful. If you want to go deeper into this topic, Dr. Phelan is going to be doing a free seminar on when kids tell lies and what to do about it next week. So we will drop the link here on our Facebook page, and it will also be in our upcoming newsletter. So if you're not already signed up for that, 123magic.com, and you can get signed up for that newsletter where you'll get parenting videos, tips, notifications about upcoming events, and more. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.